I am leaving New Hampshire. Just kidding. I'm not going anywhere. And after you hear what I'm about to tell you, you'll understand exactly why. I've lived here my entire life. 9 generations of family have called this place home. And I've been selling real estate here for 22 years. So let me give you the complete truth about what it's like to live in New Hampshire. What I love, what drives me crazy, who should move here and why. What I love about living in New Hampshire. Okay, let me start with why I'm still here after all of these years, because honestly, I've had every reason to leave. I went to school here, got my business degree, and then I headed out to the big city thinking I was going to conquer the world. I lasted only a year, then I came right back, because the truth is, there's something special about this place that just keeps pulling you back in. The 4 seasons are a huge part of why I love it here. I know some people complain about the winters. For me, I'm a skier and I'm a golfer. So once I get sick of one, I can start doing the other. It's the perfect balance. But don't get me wrong, I don't like shoveling snow. Nobody does. But here's the thing. We've got Logan Airport and Manchester Airport close by, which makes it super easy to escape during the worst parts of the winter if you want to. You could be on a beach in Florida in a few hours if you need a break. And if you're living in southern New Hampshire, you're only about 45 to 60 minutes from downtown Boston. You get access to a major city without actually having to live in one. You get all the benefits, the restaurants, the sports, the culture, but then you come back home to peace and quiet. I mean, think about it. I can be an hour away from Portsmouth with over 100 restaurants if I want a night out, or I can be out in my boat 5 minutes after work on a random Tuesday. Where else can you do that? We literally live where other people vacation. Lake Winnipesaukee is 72 square miles with over 200 islands. It's right in our backyard. The White Mountains have Loon Mountain, Bretton Woods, Cannon, Unstock. I mean, the list goes on and on. Mount Washington is 6,288 feet tall, the tallest peak in the entire northeastern United States. We've got 18 miles of Atlantic coastline with Hampton Beach, Rye Beach, New Hampton Beach. But before you think this is some tax-free paradise, stick around because I'm going to tell you about one tax that catches a lot of retirees off guard. It's something you absolutely need to factor into your budget. Now, here's a big draw for a lot of people. There's no state income tax and no sales tax. And recently, the interest and dividends tax was repealed and phased out starting January 1st, 2025. This is huge for anyone making good money or living on retirement savings. Beyond that, we've got hundreds of hiking trails, including parts of the Appalachian Trail. You can go boating, fishing for trout, bass, or salmon. There's snowmobiling in the winter, rock climbing at places like Cathedral Ledge. If you like the outdoors, this place is basically heaven. And if you're into history, we've got colonial architecture in Portsmouth, historic downtowns in Concord and Keene. The Kangamangas Highway brings 1 to 2 million visitors every fall just for the foliage. It's stunning. We also have some of the top school districts in the country, like Hollis, Brookline, Bedford, Wyndham, and Portsmouth. If you've got kids or you're thinking about having kids, this is a big deal. Now, I'd be lying if I said everything was perfect. Let me give you the other side. What I dislike about living in New Hampshire. Here's the honest truth. There are days when I question why I still live here. First off, the weather. We have extremes. Over 100 degrees in the summer, below 0 in the winter. And when you get 2 feet of snow in a snowstorm, it's a pain. You're shoveling driveways, clearing roofs, scraping off ice off your car for months. It gets old real fast. Another thing, we joke that everything's about an hour away. You want to go to North Conway for outlet shopping? An hour. Boston for serious shopping? 2 hours. Depending on where you are, it's just the reality of living in a less densely populated state. And if you're wondering what New Hampshire's future looks like, stick with me. I'm about to get into that. Now here's the big one, property tax. It's the primary revenue source for towns, which means it's high. I mentioned it earlier that we don't have an income tax or sales tax, right? Well, that money has to come from somewhere, and it comes from property taxes. For retirees on a fixed income, that's a real affordability concern. Winters are long, December through March is cold, and there's a lot of snow. Heating costs are substantial because a lot of homes here run on oil or propane, and that's not cheap. If you're looking for nightlife, Portsmouth has the most vibrant scene, and Manchester's downtown is growing. But outside those areas, things quiet down by 11, if not earlier. This is not Miami. This is not New York. If you want to go clubbing at 2 a.m., you're out of luck. The internet can also be a problem in rural areas. Broadband is expanding with federal funding and programs like New Hampshire Broadband, but the rural digital divide still exists. If you're a remote worker and need fast, reliable internet, you need to check that before you move to a certain area. And then there's housing costs. The median sales price statewide hit $500,000 in October of 2025, up 2.6% year over year. Inventory is up 15.2%, which is good, but in desirable towns, competition is still fierce. You're still going to be paying a premium to live in the best spots. All right, so now that you know the good and the bad, let's talk about who this place is for. But before that, if you want to make the move here and would like the help of someone who knows New Hampshire inside and out, come talk to my team. We've been around for more than 22 years, helping people like you find their perfect place over here. All of our info is in the description below. Now let's get back to the video. What type of person should move to New Hampshire? Okay, so not everyone is cut out for New Hampshire, and that's fine. Here's who fits. You need to value the outdoors. If you want to come down in an elevator and go out to dinner by taking an Uber, this is probably isn't the spot. But if you like to get out on the lake, do a hike, go cross-country skiing, this is your place. It's about fresh air and feeling the sun in your face. It's about cookouts and boat rides, not high-rises and nightclubs. Growing up here, I didn't realize how good I had it until I went to college and my friends started telling me about their stories. They didn't have a big lake in their backyard for water skiing. Their grandfathers did not teach them to boat. They didn't start skiing when they were 3 years old. That stuff was just normal to me, and I took it for granted. Now I realize how lucky we are. If you're a high earner, a remote worker, or a retiree, the no income tax and no sales tax is a huge draw. You're keeping more of your money, plain and simple. We have town meeting day. It's a tradition that goes back for centuries. If you care about having a direct say in how your town is run, you're going to love it here. The state is also business friendly. There is a lower regulatory burden than you'll find in Massachusetts, and we've got proximity to Boston for capital and clients. Nashua has a technology park where companies like Oracle and Fidelity find home. Manchester's Mill Yard is full of tech startups. There's a real opportunity here if you're an entrepreneur or you work in tech. We also have great colleges. Durham has the University of New Hampshire with about 15,000 students. Hanover has Dartmouth, an Ivy League school with about 6,700 students. So if education matters to you, we've got that covered. And if you want space, towns like Peterborough, Moultonborough, Littleton, you can buy land, have acreage, and not even see your neighbor. That kind of privacy is hard to find these days. So that's who fits. But let me also tell you who's going to struggle here. Okay, here's the thing. If you fall into any of these categories, you might want to reconsider. If you hate shoveling, scraping ice, or driving in the snow, this isn't for you. Winters are real here. You can't just avoid them. You have to deal with it. If you need a bustling nightlife, you're going to be disappointed. Portsmouth has over 100 restaurants, and that's great. But outside those areas, nightlife is limited, and those things shut down early. If you're used to a city that never sleeps, this is going to feel slow. And coming up, I'm going to break down the future of New Hampshire and why I think the next decade is going to be one of the strongest we've seen. Stay with me. Now, the economy here is strong in healthcare, technology, education, and retail. But if you're in a niche field like film production or fashion, you're going to have limited opportunities. Those industries just aren't big here. And culturally, we've got some great stuff. Museums like the Courier and the Hood are excellent, but they're smaller. Performing art venues like the Palace Theater and the Music Hall are great, but there are fewer options than you find in a major city. Is New Hampshire a good place to retire? I'm hoping to know the answer for this for sure in the next decade or so, but here's what I know. Income tax means your Social Security, your pension, and your retirement withdrawals aren't taxed at a state level. That's a huge advantage. No sales tax means your day-to-day spending goes further. You're not getting nickeled and dimed every time you buy something. The only catch is property tax, which I mentioned earlier, but if you plan for it, it's manageable. If you pick the right town, it's less. You just need to factor it into your budget from the start. Healthcare here is excellent. Dartmouth-Hitchcock in Lebanon is a premier academic medical center. Elliott Health in Manchester launched its cardiothoracic surgery program in January of 2026, which now means you can get open heart surgery without having to go all the way to Boston. Portsmouth Regional Hospital is a level 2 trauma center with 240 beds, so you're covered. And for the lifestyle, Lake Winnipesaukee has boating, fishing, even waterfront dining. The Seacoast has beach access, coastal trails, and a milder climate compared to the northern part of the state. You've got options. Travel is easy too. Logan Airport is 60 to 90 minutes from southern New Hampshire. Manchester-Boston Regional Airport has direct flights from Southwest, JetBlue, United, and American. You can get anywhere you need to go. So that's the retirement picture. But what about the long-term future of New Hampshire? Let me share my thoughts. I am very pro-New Hampshire. and I think the next decade is going to be one of the strongest we've seen. Here's why. I'm all for protecting our natural resources, but I also support careful development. You've got people who want all the trees and you have people that want all the pavement. And as long as we keep the communication going, you will find a healthy balance. Collaboration and sometimes confrontation creates a healthy balance between nature and development while staying true to what we already have here. And I think that's key to our future. One big thing that's happening is the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard expansion. It's a $1.8 billion project that's adding 2 new dry docks for nuclear submarine maintenance, with the completion set for 2028. That's going to bring thousands of long-term defense jobs, and a lot of those workers are going to live on the New Hampshire side in towns like Portsmouth, Dover, Rochester, and Newington. It's going to drive a lot of growth. We also have major infrastructure improvements happening. I-93 exit 4 in Londonderry and Derry. Phases 2 and 3 are completing in June of 2028. They're widening Folsom Road from 2 lanes to 7 lanes, which is going to make these towns much more commutable to Boston. That's a game changer. Here's what I tell people. We're in a much more balanced housing market than we have been in years. There are more choices, more negotiation power, and great buying opportunities, especially with so many new developments coming. But once 2028 hits and all these infrastructure projects are done, demand is going to go up. So if you're thinking about moving here, now's the time. The economy is growing too. New Hampshire restaurants opened across the state in 2025, like the Getty Bagel in Portsmouth or the Point Break in Hampton. These aren't just restaurants. They're indicators of economic vitality and culture. When businesses are opening, that tells you something good is happening. Now, there are some challenges ahead. The median age here is 43.4 years. We're tied with Vermont as the second oldest state after Maine. By 2030, people 65 and older are going to exceed the number of children. That creates a workforce challenge, but it also creates demand for healthcare services, senior housing, and retirement communities. So there's opportunity there too. And remote work is driving relocations. You've got young professionals in their 20s and 30s moving here for quality of life. You've got retirees in their 60s coming up here for the tax benefits and outdoor recreation. We're seeing growth across the board. So now you know why I've stayed here my entire life and why I'm not leaving anytime soon. 9 generations here taught me one thing. New Hampshire isn't just a place to live, it's a place worth staying for. If that resonates with you, maybe it's time to find out if you belong here too. If you're ready to explore which New Hampshire town fits your lifestyle and budget, send me an email at adam@thedowgroup.com today. We'll walk you through exactly where you should be looking based on what matters most to you. And with the market showing more inventory and negotiation power than we've seen in years, don't miss out. Wondering where to retire in New Hampshire? Check out this next video. I cover 7 towns from Wolfboro to Oceanfront Rye to mountain towns like North Conway, breaking down by price and lifestyle for each. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you there.